Alrighty, what up, yo? Okay, everything's recording. Um, just going over my daily breakdown for Tuesday, June 24th. So, um, I'll get to this one last here. So, start off with the pairs that are selected. Let's see. Yeah, okay. So these all needed the daily shift structure still. Okay, so GJ did actually shift structure now, so we just needed to have a pullback. So we need to still wait at least another day. So you can see we've had that push. Now we need a pullback before we can look at it closer. Let's go to USD CZK. So TP is right over here. It is bearish, so we do need price to still shift structure. It looks like it's breaking lower, so it could possibly um, go lower like that. And then when it comes back, it could break this high. Now we could be in trend. So we still need to shift the structure. AUD CAD, weekly structure point. It needs a daily shift of structure. I don't know how this is going to happen. So it's got to like make a lower low, but it looks like it's already going to get there. So that still needs a daily shift. AUD JPY, currently still bullish. So we do still need it to break the high or break this low here to shift the bearish. Let's go USD CAD. Still need to shift the structure. NZD USD. Yeah, still need to shift the structure. So they all still need to shift the structure in order to go to the take profit or in order to be in trend. So we're not interested in these. Now the ones that need the daily pullback. So you can see JJ is in trend. So we're bullish on GJ. We need that pullback. Euro GBP, we are in trend. This is bullish. We've already had actually here. Let's go. Let's go. So we're now bullish and we've had the pullback. So now we go down to the 4 hour, see what's going on with the 4 hour. 4 hour currently is, so it's had a pullback. It's had the rejection. So here, we'd be looking here. Okay, so we've got the rejection signal right here. So now we need a 30-minute to be in trend. So we can actually move this to here. Euro JPY. Let's go back onto daily. Still waiting for a daily pullback. So we need at least one candle close. We already checked this, right? Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, this already hit TP, so there's no entry on here, so we can just move this to not this week. We're not interested in this. Okay, now these all needed the 4 hour shift in order to go. So now let's check the daily. So the daily is in trend. We're pulling back deeper on here, so this is good. When was this? This is Friday last week. So we still have, as you can see, we didn't touch TP on there. If we go to the weekly, you can see it's right there. It didn't reach this. So this is still a valid play. It's pulling back deeper on the daily. That's good. Now the 4 hour will still need to shift structure in order to go bullish. USD SCK daily is bullish. We've had the daily pullback already. The 4 hour does need to shift structure though, so we're waiting for the 4 hour to shift structure to bullish. Euro PLN, we are bullish. On the daily, the 4 hour did shift structure because it broke this low, so we just needed to break this high and then pull back. So we're still waiting for that. Use the NOK. It needs to break this low in order, or it can just pop back up and break that, then shift structure. So we're still waiting for a shift to structure in the 4 hour. Okay, and now these. So let's go make sure the daily's all good. So daily's bullish in trend. Daily's had a pullback already. 4 hours had the rejection right there. So this is, we are looking for a entry signal on here. AUD CAD, it's pulling back. We still need a bearish candle to close in our direction to signal that we're going to be at a potential 4 hour lower high. And here we're bullish. We had the rejection signal right here, but I'll show you why. Let's move this here actually. So once you get the rejection signal, like the 4 hour candle closing in your direction, you need another confirmation. So you actually, the time frame that bridges all the lower time frames together is a 30-minute, right? So as you can see on here, the 30-minute is not in trend because the 30 minutes bearish, right? So within this 4 hour period, we need the 30-minute to then break this lower high here. So it doesn't look like it's going to do it because we have about 7 more minutes in order for this to close. So it's not gonna do that, right? So we're gonna have to wait for another 4 hour to close on there. So we're gonna need another 4 hour confirmation. Euro GBP, the 4 hour gave us the confirmation. So we've closed, confirming that the direction is now bullish on the 4 hour, signaling a potential 4 hour higher low. And the 30 minute right here, as you can see, this is the lower high. So the 30 minute is still bearish. So we would need the 30 minute to break and then we can look for an entry. So this is not going to do it as well too, because we only have, like good 7 minutes. So we're going to need another 4 hour confirmation on there. So we need the 4 hour again to close as a bullish candle, which it looks like it's going to do on here, but 6 minutes left. You never know what's going to happen. So I'm just going to leave this in here for now, actually. So we've already checked. Okay, that doesn't have it. That still needs another. Okay. And silver, we've had the confirmation that price is closed bearish at the areas of interest. The 30 minute is also bearish. So then let's go to the 15. So the lower time frames are now in sync now because the 30 minutes doing that. The only thing is, in order for us to get an entry signal, like you need an engulfing entry signal in order to take the sell, right? The only thing is like you can't take it when this is like this. This is super messy. You want the pullback to be super clean. Like, let me see if I can find a clean pullback. Like, like see how this is just like clean? It pulls back. It's just one candle here, but it's not an engulfing candle. It's just a nice clean pullback. So then when you get that bearish engulfing on there, you put your stops above the lower higher on here, and then you can then take it down as long as you have enough, as long as your range for your TPs is good, right? So like for example, right here as well, price is bearish. It goes clean. You get this bearish engulfing on here. You put your stops below this lower high, and then it just drops, right? So same thing here, except for this pullback is messy. So we're not interested in that. So then what you can do is you can then go to the 5 minute, and then the 5 minute, what it has to do is you have to reach a point. So my area of interest would probably be like this is improper. So you need another one. So what you want price to do, because this is invalid, is to create internal structure and then shift when it's clean, right? So you want this to be like this, then it to create an accumulation, then break the low, and then retest that neckline there, and then it drops. The only reason why this wouldn't be good, like you can see right here, there was an entry here at 515. The only thing is, this is our weekly target, right? If that's our weekly target and you get your engulf in, you have to put your stop loss below the point where the structure first shifted. So as you can see, structure was bullish here and then it broke this low. So this is the point that structure first shift to bearish. First shift to bearish trend, right? So if you set it here and you put your stops here, you only have a 1R TP to do that. That's not worth it. You need it to be at least like for me to take this, like it needs to be a 3R plus. That way I have enough room to do anything. That way if it doesn't go in favor, like we're always taking high probability, high reward trades, right? So this is not valid. So I just wanted to keep that on there so you can see like the reason why you wouldn't want to take something like this because this is just high risk, low reward. You want to take low risk, high reward trades, right? So now what we're waiting for is we only have another like 4 minutes for this to do it. So it's not going to do it, but if it were, you would just wait for it to accumulate, break below, right? Break below here, retest this neckline, and then you get an engulfing. Then it would be something like still it's not even worth it. So that's why we're going to wait for price to pull back even deeper, right? So then we go back to the 4 hour. The 4 hour is going to mess around on here. When the 4 hour gives us that signal, this candle is going to close bearish as well too. So that means that we can actually use we can, right there. I really doubt this is going to close, within 3 minutes here, it's going to close bullish. It could, but that's what we're going to be looking for. So within this period now, when price gets to here, we need to again make sure you can see the 30 minute is still bearish. That's good. So when we're within this period, we can then look for the signal again. We want it to be higher up though. All of this is invalid, so we're not going to use the 15 minute. We're going to be using the 5 minute. So when the 5 minute gets into this area, we need it to at least be I'm going to keep this here because this is already measured out. So in order for me to be interested in this, like it's going to have to be something like this, right? So that means that price is probably going to come up and then reject this other area of interest and then give us another 4 hour on here. So that's probably going to be around maybe around 11 o'clock. That's because that's when the next 4 hour closes for pre-London. So around that time, if we get a 4 hour candle that closes like that, right? Like if we get a 4 hour candle on the 4 hour that closes like this, then we're gonna jump back down. We still can't use the 15 minute. We can't use the like yeah, we definitely can't use the 15 minute because the 15 minute is having this messy pullback on here. So then I'd use the 5 minute as long as it doesn't break this lower high here, we're good because then the 50 minute is obviously still bullish. The 30 minute is obviously still bearish, so we're good, right? So everything is in trend. So once we come here, the 4 hour closes like this, then the 5 minute, we're looking for something, to do something like that. When it breaks that, retest, right? We get an engulfing right here, somewhere right there on the 5 minute. Then we have adequate enough range in order to take this. We have a proper stop loss, and then we're going to take that down. So that's what I'm looking for on there. And then let me go back to here. So here we've closed in trend. The 30 minute, however, is still bearish, so we need the 30 minute to shift. The 30 minute is not going to shift until it breaks this lower high over here. So that's what we're waiting for. Boom, break that. Then when it pulls back, we can then look for an entry signal. Our TP, because this is a proper pullback, as you can see, the area of interest right here. This is the proper weekly structure. Why it wasn't showing on the other time frames. Perfect. Okay. So we're not going to take an entry on the 30 minute either. This has plenty range, right? So this is a nice trade, really high reward trade. So once the 30 minute shifts, then we would then, as you can see, the 15 minutes not even in trend either, right? So that's why we need the 30 minute to shift. When the 30 minute shifts, then the 15 minute will also shift. So let's say, for example, the 30 minute is going to shift when it breaks here, right? As long as we're still within that 40 minute or that 4 hour, this is the range, right? So we got to make sure that everything happens within that time. So as you can see, the 30-minute shift is going to break out on here. So we're not going to be interested in that because then we always have to be taking a trade at a 4 hour lower high or higher low, right? So if we're above here, then we're at a new 4 hour higher high. So it doesn't make sense, right? So that's why this price is either it's gonna break and then we're gonna have to wait for another pullback, or it's gonna pull back deeper. If it pulls back deeper, that's even better because then we can look at it break in here and then shift in. So then pulls back deeper, it'll break here, then shift, right? Like if it comes back, then we at least we get a deeper range and then we have adequate enough range again to take it. So there's just some things to look out for. But when you do that, at least you know you have like super, super high range in order to take that. I can show you here basically. If I go to my journal, if we go to like example, like for example, like this trade right here, you can see that when you do that properly, like the weekly, the daily is aligned, the 4 hour gives us the confirmation on there. So this closes bullish. So then it signals that this is a potential 4 hour high or low, right? So then you wait for the 30 minute to shift in trend. The 30 minute shifts, then you go to the 15. So you can see when the 15 shifts, you get the engulfing right here. We come back, we retest the neckline, we get an engulfing right here. You put your stops below the last higher low before price shifts on the entry time frame right here, and then you target the weekly point, which is at least a 3R, right? I set my shades to 3R, so whoops, right here. So we have a guaranteed 3R, and then if you actually target the weekly structure point right here, you could have had like, like a 10R or whatever if you want to hold it for that, right? So that's why we have to be very, very patient with this, but it is very high risk, really, or sorry, very low risk, high, very, very high reward. If you set your stop loss properly and everything like that, you won't get wicked out before you do it. So this was just to show you if you cheat and you don't put your stop loss where it's supposed to go, like see price shifted on the 15-minute right here. So when price shift, if you put your stop right here, instead of putting it below the last higher low before price shifts, then you will get wicked out just like that before price goes. So that's why people get wicked out, right? But if you set your stop loss properly, then you won't get wicked out, and then you have a very, very high basically trade on there. So. And this just shows you basically this part right here. This is showing you that you have to put like don't cheat and put your stop loss below there or below, just trying to get a that's why like a different type of risk reward. Don't do that. So if you set it properly and you make sure you have at least a 2R, which we do on here, it just takes patience, but you'll have a really good trade. You can continue to hold it, leave runners, or just cap it at 3 if you're happy with that, right? So yeah, that's it. Hopefully that makes sense. If you want to learn from me, just send me a comment, just send me like a DM or something like that. And then we'll see if we can help you out on that. But yeah, hopefully that helps. Catch you on the flip side. Peace.